What's up, Raider Nation? This is Wi-Fi Willie of the Raiders Rundown, and we have some big news for the Raiders in terms of free agency. According to multiple news outlets, J.C. Jackson is set to test free agency. And what's huge about this is that the Raiders are in desperate need of a cornerback. Amari Cooper is also set to test free agency, the former Raider now on the Cowboys. And the Raiders are also very desperate for a wide receiver. When you look at our team right now, we really have two wide receivers under contract, Hunter Renfrow and Bryan Edwards. Zay Jones is set to be a free agent, so is Deshaun Jackson. And in terms of cornerback, we really only have Trayvon Mullen and Nate Hobbs. Keyshawn Nixon is kind of a practice squad guy. And keep in mind, Mullen was coming off a season-long injury, so we're not really sure how up to speed he's going to be in terms of recovery for the 2022 season. And both of these players have a previous relationship with the Raiders. Now, J.C. Jackson has a relationship with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler after being a part of the Patriots roster when they were there, part of the staff. And then you got Amari Cooper, obviously the former Raiders wide receiver who they drafted in the first round in 2015. Now, I'm not sure we're going to get these two guys. I would like us to go big in free agency, because if the Raiders go big in free agency, what that signals to the fans, what that signals to the league is that we are seriously going on a Super Bowl run. If the Raiders do not make any moves in free agency, then I hate to break this to you, but it will be a rebuild. So we have to quickly monitor what Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler do in free agency. If they do nothing, if they just do a few contracts here and there, a couple cheap guys, you know that they're just going to rebuild. And you also have to pay attention to the age of some of the players that we're going to sign in free agency. If we sign some older players, people who have talent but are going on their final year, somebody like Melvin Ingram, then yes, you'd say, okay, we're going on a Super Bowl run. Somebody like Melvin Ingram, who I think would be great on the Raiders, he'd be really great against the run instead of somebody like Yannick Ngakoue, that would signify, okay, we're trying to make a run here, because these veteran old guys, they're not going to play for a team unless they think it's a championship. Unless they're getting a long deal where they're getting paid by a team that's not going to go to a championship, yeah, they'll take that. But at the end of the day, they want to go on a Super Bowl run. And that's what you saw Melvin Ingram last year leave the Steelers and go on the Kansas City Chiefs. So I really hope we just do something. I want us to at least just do something in free agency so I know for a fact we are going on a Super Bowl run. It's really weird to me that people think that we are going on a Super Bowl run. I actually think it's quite clear that this is a rebuild situation. We have too many needs in multiple spots around this roster. Like I just mentioned previously, in terms of wide receiver and cornerback, we don't have a starting lineup. We have portions of a starting lineup, but we don't have a starting lineup. We do not have three solid wide receivers who could start for every team in the NFL. We only have one. We pretty much have Hunter Renfrow and Bryan Edwards, who struggled with injuries. I personally think Davante Adams and Amari Cooper, I think they're not likely to happen. First of all, with Davante Adams, I just think he's going to be too expensive, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going back to Green Bay, and I think Davante's going to go there with him. I just think that's what's happening, and when you talk to Packers fans, that's what they believe is happening. So I'm no longer counting down the deadline to March 8th about the franchise tag, because I really do not believe Davante Adams is going to come here. And come back on this channel, let me know if I'm right, and let me know if I'm wrong. Come back on here and comment on the channel, let me know if I'm right and wrong. I hope he comes. I want him to come here, but I just don't think it's going to happen. In terms of Amari Cooper, I don't really want this guy. Amari Cooper, in my opinion, gave up on the Raiders. He gave up on the Raiders when he was here. You saw him put minimal effort into some of the passes that Derek Carr would throw to him. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in 2017, but he's always had this demeanor that he doesn't give a shit. And when he went to the Cowboys, you saw him become more positive. Well, I will never, ever forget this primetime game when Amari Cooper was interviewed after the game while he was a Dallas Cowboy. It was 2018, the year he was traded. He said, yeah, it's great being a Cowboy. It's great being on primetime games. It's actually exciting. So he looked at the Raiders as a lowly organization. That's not exciting for the Alabama receiver. He wanted a more flashy, famous team, and he got what he wanted with the Cowboys. Unfortunately, they don't want him anymore. So really, even if Amari Cooper does have the talent, and I think he's a talented wide receiver, he's obviously a good wide receiver, I don't trust him. I don't trust him, because what if he gets demotivated again? What if he gets demoralized again and quits on our team? You're really going to want to risk that. And the Cowboys, they're pursuing a championship, so if they're willing to get rid of Amari Cooper, they must believe he no longer has the goods that he used to have. They could work the cap, they could convert his salary cap into a bonus and spread it out and work the cap just like any team in the NFL can, but for some reason, they're out on Amari Cooper. So I think the Raiders should stay away from the danger. I think we need to get some homegrown talent. Look at this draft. Look at the combine of the wide receivers last night. There's so many people who had great 40 times, so many people that you can use in positional roles. Why not resign somebody like Zay Jones, roll with Bryan Edwards, roll with Hunter Renfrow, and then find a deep threat in the later rounds of the 2022 draft? I think that's a likely scenario for the Raiders. I think that's a cheap scenario, and I think that's the scenario that can give you some room long term. We know that they interviewed some wide receivers just the other day. Chris Olave was one of them, along with Garrett Wilson and Justin Ross. However, we don't know what this means. Just because a player says they're interviewed by somebody does not mean that we are going to draft them. We're not drafting that high up either. We are pick number 22. So unless we trade up, we're not going to grab some of these receivers like Chris Olave. And this could all be smoke and mirrors. The Raiders could be interviewing wide receivers to make other teams think that we are picking one with the first round when really we're not. Either way, I think history shows Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, Hunter Renfrow. That's just 3 off the top of my head, where those are wide receivers that you did not have to take in the first round and have been plenty productive in the NFL. So we'll quickly monitor every single thing that the Raiders are doing, and we'll keep you guys up to date on what's happening. My name is Wi-Fi Willie of the Raiders Rundown. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one. And make sure you check out our live every Thursday at 5 p.m. We will be going live on the Raiders Rundown. Peace out. Have a good one.